Welcome back, traders. This is going to be my market outlook on index futures for the week of June 29th. Now, June is almost over, but we still have one more day left on Monday. So I'm going to wait until next weekend before taking a look at the monthly chart. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and start with S&P using the weekly chart. So looking at the weekly chart for S&P, remember I told you to keep an eye on this fair value gap. I want to see it used as inversion, meaning I want to see price trade through it and then use it as support. So we did trade through it to this weekly fair value gap, came back down, and as soon as we hit the top of this weekly inversion fair value gap, you can see last week we had a huge rally. This was what, like 260 points worth of upside. And we are likely going to be heading for my long-term buy-side target above these relative highs, creating new all-time highs, most likely this next week. Now, taking a closer look at the daily chart, I want you to note this daily SIBI here as we zoom into the most recent price action. So from here, you can see that we did tap into the high of that weekly inversion fair value gap, and then we pretty much had a rally above this weekly inversion fair value gap. Notice how on Wednesday we did consolidate at the top of it, but we didn't go into the lower half. And then Thursday, Friday, pretty big rally days, and we just traded straight through this daily fair value gap. Did not really use it as resistance whatsoever. So it does look like we are going to be heading for that long-term buy-side target, new all-time highs. Now, there is going to be a fair value gap here on the daily, so we can note that we may have a slight retracement into this daily fair value gap, but all in all, I don't really expect us to return back into this weekly fair value gap, although we do have, a daily fair value gap here, but it's mostly in the lower half of this weekly fair value gap and below it. So I don't really expect price to come back down here again, but we could definitely retrace into here. But ultimately, I'm looking for new all-time highs as my buy-side target. Now, I don't want to call it the top, right? So once we go and hit the new all-time highs, I'm not really going to be expecting price to come straight back down, right? We're just going to keep continuing until I can see some bearish signs. So just going to keep a bullish bias until we see bullish PD arrays being violated and bearish PD arrays being respected. So how high can we go? Well, I just do a projection from this low to this high. Remember, all-time highs, you don't really have any PD array targets, so it'll be a little hard to tell. But using that projection, we do have a -1 standard deviation here. This is going to be as far as I'm going to go, and we'll see how price behaves once we do take out new all-time highs. Okay, now moving on to Nasdaq, here's the weekly chart, and we also use this weekly inversion fair value gap as support, although we did start using it and trading more of the range that we did in ES, but ultimately you can see that we started rallying once we worked this fair value gap for quite a bit, and we rallied last week, taking out this high, but not all-time highs just yet. But just like ES, I am looking for Nasdaq to look for new all-time highs. Now, zooming into the daily chart, note this daily SIBI as we zoom into the most recent price action. So as you can see, we consolidated within this weekly inversion fair value gap for quite a while, and then we rallied above through this daily SIBI. And I'm looking for this daily SIBI to be used as inversion as well. We also have a daily BISI here. I'll go ahead and mark it out. Now, this daily BISI though, you can see that most of it is below this daily inversion fair value gap or in the lower half or below. So I'm not really looking for price to retrace that much into it, but we could start, maybe hitting the top of it. As long as we stay in the upper half of that daily inversion fair value gap, I will be happy. Now, this candle here on Thursday, I don't know what's going on with TradingView. It's a little messed up. It should be closing up on the day, like around 5:10 or so. So I'm pretty much just going to ignore this candle. So I'm using this candle on Wednesday and Friday, using this to draw in my daily fair value gap. So currently we're up here. If we do have some retracement, I'm looking for this daily fair value gap to hold up and then bounce up for new all-time highs. Same with ES, you don't want to be calling the top. We're going to have a bullish bias until we can start seeing bullish PD arrays being violated and bearish PD arrays being respected. And same for the targets. I'm using a projection from this low to this high. And as you can see, we are projecting a -1 standard deviation all the way up here. Now, same for ES. That's as far as I'm willing to go for right now. You know, we got to see how price behaves once we take out this buy side at all-time highs, and then we can see whether or not we want to be looking for a negative 1.5 standard deviation or something. But don't think too far ahead right now. New all-time highs is going to be hard to trade, so just look for the low-hanging fruit right here at the buy side target or at this -1 standard deviation. So that's it for this one. I think it's obvious at this point to everybody that we are going to be making new all-time highs. But if you've been following my market outlooks, you'll know that I've been calling for new all-time highs 2 months ago at the beginning of May. So if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get all of my analysis for free. And if you find any value in this, please hit that like button as well. But until next time, traders, safe trading.